Hi, friends. I am so glad that you're here. I hope you're having a wonderful Monday. I've turned the camera around so I can't see if anybody pops up. So if you say something, I am not ignoring you. I just get really thrown off my game when someone shows up and says something. And so I have eliminated that distraction. Please still say something. Please still comment. I would love to know your thoughts, and I will read them and reply to you afterward. I promise I will. So, yeah, anywho, I am Elise Halcomb from Halcomb Studio, and I'm glad you're here. I'm pretty sure I already said that. My mission is to help women feel more confident in business through branding and faith, and this is our faith segment, there's a bunch of us, my faith segment. And if you couldn't tell from the description, called Jesus Time. Anywho, so we're going to talk about trusting in God completely and totally in your life and in your business. So more specifically to business, I have been struggling with this and I didn't realize I was until this weekend. So I'm going to share some of that with you. So this past weekend, I went to the Business Boutique Conference. I loved it. If you can go, I would highly, highly recommend it. I mean, it won't be until next October, but it was phenomenal. It's from Christy Wright. She is one of Dave Ramsey's personalities, and she's all about equipping women to step into their God-given gifts, to do what they love. So I'm doing a similar thing to her, just loving women and pushing them to do great things that the Lord has asked them to do. So, funny story about that conference though, when I bought my ticket, I did not have a business. So I only started this business in August, out of necessity after the hurricane had moved us and I had to quit my job. So, at the point when I bought the tickets, I still had a full-time job that I had every intention. Well, I didn't know if I was going to keep it or not because the hurricane had still happened. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but I did not start a business. I didn't have a business. I always kind of wanted to start one. Varied back and forth if I was going to do it or not. And at the point when I bought the tickets, I was at a point where I thought this maybe one day God will give me the ability to do so, but it's not right now. So you're thinking why did you even buy the tickets then? So my mom and my sister both kind of have side hustles. They sell stuff on eBay. And my sister is a phenomenal saleswoman. I don't know how she gets the stuff she gets or sells the stuff she sells. She's just good at it. So for my mom's birthday and for my sister's birthday, I bought them these Business Boutique tickets because, I thought it'd be great and they really liked the idea of it. So I went with them. I was going to go with them. I did go with them. And we were just going to have a girls' weekend and enjoy it. And I was just going to kind of tag along and get some good information. And I like Christy Wright and I'd love to hear Dave Ramsey speak, right? So fast forward, bam, now I have a business and that was really useful. So I learned a ton. So good. Highly recommend it. It is like a business conference and Sunday morning service, all together. Business saturated in Jesus, which is definitely my jam. I love that. And a lot of encouragement, also my jam. So I loved it. So I learned a lot about business. But God also really got a hold of my heart over the weekend, just about where I am and my trusting in Him with everything. I didn't realize it was a trust issue until I was driving back on Saturday. It's a 6.5, 7 hour drive, and I'm driving back by myself and praying, listening to music, listening to podcasts and stuff, all kinds of things. And I'm just praying and talking to the Lord, and He really hit me you don't trust me with this. That's why there's so much fear involved in it. Because if you trusted me, you wouldn't be so afraid. And I'm owie. That's true, I guess. Ow. So, last week, and God's just so cool the way He, puts things together. So the conference was Thursday through Saturday, and then the Tuesday before that, I was at my small group, and we're going through this really great course called Gospel-Centered Community, and this particular week was about humility. and it talked about humility in community, and it had this chart that had humility presenting itself as arrogance and also as fear. And I didn't really realize that all the fear things were also pride. Yeah, so pride presenting itself as arrogance and as fear, not humility. And so some of the things were like seeing people who are competent and good and in your arena creates like not competition, but like kind of like a threat. And I have been realizing that about myself a little bit. Like, I love people. I love them big. I love them bold. I want them to succeed. I want them to do great things that the Lord is calling them to do. I am excited for them. But I'd be lying if I wasn't also jealous. Like, and that's just being real. Like, thankfully the Lord shows me that quickly. When my jealousy creeps up. I didn't actually plan on saying this, but I'm gonna. So, before we moved, I ran the outreach at our church, this wonderful church, Rock Solid. I love you guys so much. If any one of you are listening to this, I did the outreach and I loved it. And I was so scared when I did that too, because I wasn't qualified, and not what everybody says. Like, I'm not qualified for this. Like, duh, God's gonna do it. So, but that was scary, but I did it anyway, and God showed up in mighty ways, and I loved it so much, and I just assumed we were gonna be there forever. You know, like, Nolan changed his job so he wouldn't get stationed anywhere else, and we were staying in Panama City, and that's a whole nother story, but anywho. So I just assumed I was gonna be there forever, and I was gonna help grow this church, and it was going to be mighty and crazy, and we were going to not kill, that sounds crazy, that sounds bad, just like love, like, that's a better word, love the community to the Lord, like, and I was going to help with that, and that is where I put a lot of my energy. And so we left, and I had to resign, and I knew that they were going to have to bring somebody else in. Like, obviously they got to keep going and doing stuff, right? And my good friend, Misty, who watches my videos and I love so much and is so gonna kill this job, got the job at the church. And I was excited for her, and I was upset all at the same time. Like, now it's real. Now I can't go back. Now it's over. And I'm like, that is so horrible. Just be happy for her. And God is so good to me, and He let me know that quickly, and I'm a little surprised that I just shared that, but I want to be real with you guys, so here we are. I was excited for her, but my heart hurt, and I was upset. So God showed me that quickly, thankfully, and I prayed about it. And when I say quickly, like within 10 or 15 seconds, like what is wrong with you, Elise? Absolutely not. We are not going to feel like this. So prayed about it, and the Lord took that from me, and now I just have joy for her, you know, and I am so excited to see what she's gonna do, and what that church is gonna go, where they're gonna go, and where the Lord's leading, and what's happening. Good stuff's happening there. I'm pumped about that. That was off track. Not entirely sure why I shared that, but I did, and it's live, so it's out there. Whatever. Anywho, so when things like that happen, that's not the only time that happens. It happens more often than I'd like to admit. God pricks me pretty fast. I pray about it, give it to Him. He takes it away. But sometimes it comes back, and I pray about it, and He takes it away, and it goes back and back and back. But so sometimes, not in this particular situation that I just shared, but other times that, like, being excited for them, the jealousy that was there, that the, like, annoyance that, like, I didn't get that, like, the pride, like, I should be doing that, not them, you know, evilness that's in my heart, it turns into feeling like a failure instead. So it went from one bad thing that was pointed at another person to this bad thing that's pointed at me, and feeling like I obviously did something wrong. I failed at this, which just isn't real. Like, as I say it out loud, it's like insanity, right? Like, how do we convince ourselves of these things? How do I convince myself of these things? I don't know. Anywho, so for the last month or so, I have been praying this prayer, and coincidentally enough, Missy was the one who, she didn't share it with just me. I was in one of her classes. I heard her say it, and I was like, that's a great prayer, and it comes straight out of Psalms, and I was like, I'm going to hardcore do this. I want my life to be more in line with Christ, so this is the way to get there, right? And so Psalms 139, 23 through 24 says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life." So I've been praying this prayer, and God has not failed me. He has been pointing out things that are not good in my anxious thoughts, which totally happened this weekend. So I'm just asking him to share this with me and to let me be more like Christ. And, it kind of sucks, but I'm okay. I'm willing to, when I'm doing it and I'm going through the anxiety and stuff and like worry and whatnot, it's not a happy time, but I will take those times so I can be more like Christ afterward. It hurts a little bit to get there. And like, I've heard this, illustration, like when they refine gold, they heat it up really, really hot, and it like sucks, for the gold if it had feelings. And then, oh, it's ridiculous. And it has, all the impurities come to the top, and they scrape them off, and then they do it again, and they do it again. And so eventually it becomes really pure, and that's where I want to be. And I think that's a great illustration. I didn't make that up. I'm not that smart. Anywho, so back to the trust issue. So while I said out loud, like I trusted God completely with my business and with everything, and honestly, I honestly believe that I trusted the Lord completely in my whole life. Like, some of you may probably know, I've talked about it, like, Nolan and I live in a weird life. We live a weird life. We live in a hotel. We don't know where we're going. I don't know how this business is going to take off. If it's going to take off, it's going to stay. We don't know where Nolan's going to work. I mean, he's going to work in the military, but we don't know where we're going. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that's very unknown, but, like, we're okay. And we have a joy that only comes from the Lord for something like that. And so I, like, really thought, like, I trust the Lord completely with every area of my life. And I've heard people say in, like, sermons, like, trust God, and, but then there's this, like, pet that you don't want him to have, and it's yours, and you want to just, like, pet it, and stroke it and feel bad about it, but it's not for God to fix. You just want it, And I always thought, I ain't got none of those. God can have anything in my life, whatever he wants. And then they're ridiculous. I feel so like arrogant saying that now, but he totally showed me that that's just not the case. And when I first started this business, it hasn't even been that long. It's been like 2 months, right? I journaled because I'm a journaler, and I was just telling the Lord, like, you can have my business. Anything you want in it, you can have. If you want it to succeed, awesome. Let's do this. If you want it to fail, that's fine. I know you'll be at the end of it. And I believe that. I believe that now. I believed it then. But my actions didn't show it well. So Saturday night, I was struggling in my head. There were so many good speakers on Saturday. Or not Saturday. It was Friday. Weekend was messed up. So many good speakers. And the whole thing was fantastic. And I just felt myself, like, being overwhelmed by the whole thing. Encouraged, overwhelmed, everything, all the emotions in my head, right? So I'm struggling with all this stuff. And I am like an idea, like fairy. I have 90 good ideas every day. And I think that I should do them all. And I'm like, if I don't pick the one that God has given me, then I'm going to fail. And it's not going to work out. And it's just in my mind. And the thing is, like, I have a lot of really bad ideas. Like, I should not start a kayaking business or make candles or make soap or start a travel agency or write a blog on, I'm writing blog posts on stuff, but it's about what this particular stuff, or work at a carnival, or which is real, or jump on a train, or all these things like I would do if God didn't hold me down, and my husband. Oh, he gave me that man for a reason. He helps me stay centered. So 89 of the 90 ideas I have every day are not good for me. But I do know that God has given me a lot of desires in my heart, and they're big. And some of them I haven't even shared with anyone except for my husband, and he's all like, he's like, oh, okay, babe. And that's how he always is. Oh, okay, babe. He believes in me and he trusts me, but I don't have a great track record with my ideas, but I really do. There's some stuff in there that I think that's gonna happen, and I'm a little nervous. But anywho, but I got way off track. I'm sorry. I'm not really terribly good at this. Anywho, but like God has given me desires of my heart, in my heart, and I believe that these ones are from Him. Like I want to love people, broken, hurt, big, and audaciously, and just love them like crazy. I want to be big and bold for my family and love them deeply, and for my husband and for my surrounding family and the kids we have one day, if we have them or if we adopt them or if we foster kids, like whatever. But I just want to love them deep and in God's love, and I want to be creative, and I want to encourage women and push them to be the best things and be who God has called them to be. And I want to travel, and it's like all of these things that I can feel in my heart that I want to do so badly, and He has given them to me. And He says like He will give you the desires of your heart, and those desires came from Him. So I believe that He's going to give them, and I am going to stand on that promise that He will give them to me. And in my flesh, I can figure out how to get a couple of those things with different career paths, like just 2 or 3 here, 1 or 2 there. You know, I could do this and do that. I could do this and do that. Get those things. But He says He's going to give me all of them, and I can't see how that's even going to happen. So that becomes anxiety in me. And I hate that. I am not an anxious person. I am very go with the flow. Like, if you can ask anybody I've been on vacation with, it's just like, I don't know, let's show up. We'll go do some stuff. We'll find somewhere local to eat. We don't got to figure it out before we get there. What is that? Who needs that? I don't know. Like, I'm going on a cruise next year. Never been on a cruise. I don't know anything about it. I'm not worried about it. But I have friends who go on cruises and watch videos for the year before to figure out everything. And that's cool. Good for you. But I'm just... I don't know why I shared that. That doesn't matter. But anywho, I'm just saying, like, I'm very go with the flow. So anxiety and like worrying about stuff, that is not my jam. You know, no one's really good at it, but like, I'm not used to it. Except for about this has always been an issue. Every time God's given me something that's been good, something that He obviously gave me, like my first design job, like I was not qualified for that job, but He gave it to me anyway. Somebody else got the job and had to leave, and I was the only other person that kind of fit, and they gave it to me, and I have been running with that since then. I have been a designer since then, and it has been amazing, and the Lord gave me that. And even when I was there, I kept thinking, where could I go? What could I do? What's next? Always, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? How can I make this better? Instead of just trusting God with where I am to learn what I need to learn where I am. Oh, I'm talking a lot. So, so I have serious, like, FOMO, fear of missing out, especially in my career. And the enemy knows this, and thankfully I know this about myself, and God shows me that in myself a lot. And so I tell myself lies, the enemy tells me lies, but God is the God of hope, and I say that I trust the God who created the whole world, and He holds everything together, and He cares about me. And if I say that I believe in that God and that He cares about me, then I need to not be worried about said business or the desires of my heart or how it's going to happen. And one of the people that spoke, his name was Bob Goff, who I had never heard of, and apparently is really popular. He was great, my kindred spirit. I want to be his friend. Bob Goff, if you ever watch this, I want to be your friend. I don't think you'll ever see it, but just in case, I want to be your friend. Anywho, if you don't know who he is, he's wonderful. Go look him up. He just is a very passionate, loving, kind man. He wrote a book called Love Does, which I haven't read yet, but I'm about to. So he shared one of his verses, and his whole speech was about loving audaciously and being available to people, and it was really good. And this verse that he quoted is Hebrews 11:1, It says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. So I cannot see what God has for me in the future. No idea. Don't really know. I got some ideas, but not really. I don't know. But my faith is a confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. I have hope and I have assurance that the God of the universe is going to take care of me and going to lead me in the right path. And to think that I have enough power to miss what he has got for me, like, he got me on the right path when I wasn't paying attention. Why is it that I think that now that I am paying attention, he's going to let me, like, just miss the turn? You know, like, I'm following after God's heart. I want to do what he wants me to do. So I'm giving myself too much credit that I think that I have the power to, like, miss on out, you know. Sorry, I've been sick for a while. Nose itches. And so I'm trusting in myself too much and not enough in the Lord. Like, I have to figure this out. I have to do it. Me. If I don't do it, who's gonna do it? God's gonna do it. And he does it so much better than me. And so, So he says to cast your fears on him. Cast your anxiety on him, for he cares for you. His burden is easy and his yoke is light. And so I just want to encourage you that if you are fearful and have anxiety and are worried about the future and what's going to happen, if it's in your career, like me with the business stuff, or if it's with your family or anything like that, just to go to the Lord and ask him to help you and to show you what it is that you're not trusting him fully with, and ask him to help you give it to him. Because I couldn't just give God my anxieties without his help, because I'm not good at stuff like that. Like, when I wanted to start praying more, I asked the Lord to help me pray. I wanted to get rid of my anxiety. I'm asking the Lord to help me get rid of my anxiety. Like, I can't do this by myself, and I would go out on a limb and say you probably can't either. God loves you. You're his child. He wants to take care of everything in your life, not just the little pieces that you want to give him. He wants everything. And I want to give him everything, and I hope that you want to give him everything. And I just want to encourage you and tell you, like, God's got this. God's got it. And you got it with him. So go out, do big, bold things. Go out, kill it. You're going to be amazing. And I believe now that I've given God this business, if it fails or if it succeeds, it's on him. It ain't even on me. I mean, I got to work hard. I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to tell you to be lazy. I'm just saying, like, I'm going to do what he tells me to do. And if it works, awesome. So, I love you guys. And I'm so glad that you're here. And I'm very rambly. And I'm sorry for that. So, have a fantastic Monday. And I hope your whole week is productive. And that you just put your faith and rest in Jesus Christ. And if you do not know Jesus Christ and you are listening to this and you want to know more about him, please send me a message. I will talk to you about him until I'm blue in the face. And I cannot tell you that I will know all the answers, but I will look them up with you. I'm not a scholar. I'm not even terribly smart. But I do love my Jesus, and he has changed my life. And I believe he will change yours too. Alright, guys. I'm going to let you go. I love you so much. Talk to you later. Bye.